Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for the week of September 1st. You have this Harlequin card that says true feelings are masked. You have this dagger. It says conflict and danger lie in wait. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about this, but what I would say is that we are definitely in a time, I just said this to Pisces, actually, that we should be very careful of things like road rage. No flipping people off here, Cancer. None of that stuff, right? It's just bad. There's bad energy. I think that it's a very hot month where, so not only just this week. I would say, for the entire month. Technically, really, what I said to Pisces is until March of next year. I wouldn't be doing anything to to like flip people off or, piss people off or getting involved in fights and things like that. I would just avoid conflict, plain and simple, and make sure, I'm not saying that you would create it, but just don't, right? And if you do that, I think you'll be in a much better position. Definitely could be something about love here, obviously. You've been getting a lot of love, Cancer. I'm wondering if you are in kind of like a love mood or something. And, Jupiter in your sign, I think, can do this for sure. I think Jupiter in your sign can make you, want love, can make you attract love. When you think about it, Jupiter in astrology is your husband. So I tell people all the time, like, if you want to know, like, what sign your husband could be, if you want a husband, then look at your chart and where is your Jupiter? If it's in a sign, it could be that sign. Is it always true? No. But could it be true? Yes. To me, the best things to look at for love are Moon, Venus, and Jupiter in astrology. I think sun sign compatibility is total BS. So you have to look at your Moon, your Venus. I have no clue what I just said, but Moon, Venus, Jupiter is where I would look. You have the World, the Death card, and the Ten of Wands. The World can be some accomplishments. This reading actually looks pretty good here, Cancer. You do end with the Tower, but the Tower's coming up in the good stuff. So, that would represent like avoiding a Tower moment. It could also be a happy surprise because you have the Knight of Cups to the Tower. So this could be like a shock. Like you could be surprised that a person you're interested in is interested in you. But, that card says true feelings are masked. I feel like both people, if I'm being honest with you, I'm totally calling you out. And if the person you're interested in was here, I would call them out too, Cancer, because this to me looks like two people who are looking at each other, but like basically doing nothing about it. So I don't know. I know that's not very helpful, but there you go. There's a lot of movement this week as well, which is very surprising. Every once in a while, the readings surprise me. Like, things come up that I just don't really expect. And I felt this for Pisces. I feel it for you. I have a feeling that probably it's something collective going on. And so, I think we should pay attention to collective energies because obviously we are all part of the collective, right? And so there could be a lot of movement. Now, why is this important? Because it could be a good week to make a move, right? But not just in love, and pretty much anything. And the other thing is like sometimes I feel in these readings where I feel a lot of movement that there could be like, what I mean by movement is like, I just feel intuitively like things like zipping by like this, going in front of my vision. And this is what I feel intuitively. So whenever I have readings like this, to me, it's also saying that there could be some like big opportunities that are kind of like zipping by very quickly that you're going to want to grab onto. So, if you get any opportunities that seem quick this week where maybe you don't have a lot of time to decide whether or not you're going to grab onto the opportunity or not, I think it would be a good week to grab on to those opportunities. You have the Death card, so a lot of changes. We are in a time of significant change, so I don't know. Sometimes I feel like these cards are a little bit boring right now because it's like, duh. It's like, I'm like, yeah, like, yes, everybody is dealing with this. This card, Judgment, any of those cards, even Temperance as well has been coming up quite a bit. And so, I don't know, to me, it's just very obvious energy, and it's just the time that we're in. The other thing I will say is, I think everybody in September, except for like 2 or 3 people, had the Tower. And now the King is dead underneath the Death Rider. And so then the crown is falling off of the Tower. We are in the time of the death of establishment. Pluto has gone from Capricorn to Aquarius multiple times. It's only going to retrograde back until about like 1.3 degrees of Aquarius, so it's not going to go back into Capricorn ever again in our lifetimes. We will definitely be dead the next time it comes back because it'll be 280 something years before it comes back. But what I would say is that, this time, even though it's not going to go back into Capricorn, doesn't matter. It cleared the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius. We are going to see a lot of establishments dying. It just is what it is. It's the time that we're in. So it's like things, the king being dead on the Death Rider kind of says there might be some things that we wish could last forever, but even kings die. And this isn't a bad thing, but I do think maybe some of us, including me, we need to get comfortable with letting certain things go that just can't last forever, right? You have the Ten of Wands. I think we're in a time of simplification, and Ten of Wands is about needing to lighten your load. I personally like the Ten of Wands because he's very close to reaching his goal, but sometimes I feel he needs to lighten the load, right? Sometimes I think maybe he's carrying too many burdens or he's putting too much pressure on himself, which is kind of what I feel for you, Cancer. I feel like you're putting too much pressure on certain things in your life, and I just feel you need to not. And I know that's easier said than done, but I do think it can be helpful just telling yourself I'm putting too much pressure on myself, I need to stop, right? So maybe that's what you need to do here. But let's see. With the world, here you go. You have the Temperance card. I literally said it. Temperance, death, judgment, all these cards. Big changes. There's this crown back here. All this crown imagery going on here, Cancer. It's like you need to go claim your crown. For some of you, I feel like you need to go claim your king or your queen or whatever you're into. I don't care. But, I think you need to go and do that for sure. I think you need to not trick yourself out of something here, Cancer, as well. That could be good for you. This could be your own crown that you need to not trick yourself out of. The Seven of Swords can be lying, cheating, stealing, but, really the Seven of Swords is a good card, and he is stealing those swords from an army, but sometimes I do think that the Seven of Swords says you need to look more closely at something. In the After Tarot, for example, which I don't think I have it in here, but in the After Tarot, on the Seven of Swords, he's about to step into a trap that's on the ground. And so sometimes I feel like the Seven of Swords basically says, you need to look more closely at something. You need to examine something that you want more closely so you don't trick yourself out of it. With the Death card, you have the Ten of Wands. I mean, again, pretty good. But I think a lot of people are holding on to some things that are actually making their life more complicated, not better. It's like I think we all do this sometimes, where it's like we hold on to the old ways because it's what we know, but really the old ways are outdated and are holding us back, and the new ways are probably better. We're in a time of innovation. We have Pluto and Aquarius. It's like I say to everybody, like I think a lot of us, and even me, like, you know what I mean? It's like I'm worried a little bit about the robots taking over. I don't like these freaking nerds that are trying to get revenge on the world, like Peter Thiel basically talking about how we probably won't need humans in the future. What are you talking about, dude? That is super creepy and a weird freaking thing to say. Like, I used to like him, but after he said that, I'm like, no. It's like, dude, why don't you and Mark Zuckerberg fly your asses to Mars and stop trying to, turn everybody into robots? I know that gets Mark excited because I think he wants, basically a bunch of robot girlfriends, but maybe that's just me. But anyway, rant over. What I would say here is, again, it's like sometimes we have to get with the times, right? With the Ten of Wands, you have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is about going on adventures and being adventurous. We were talking about all this movement. I think maybe you need to be willing to, and like I said, I think the best way I can describe the energy for you, Cancer, is it's like I see things kind of like coming across your vision for some reason. I don't know, maybe that will make sense to some of you, but it's like I would grab on to some of those adventures, those opportunities. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have the Scales of Balance card. It says, finding balance within yourself and things will balance out around you. You have this Angels are watching. Here you go. There's nothing to worry about. Angels are watching over you. This is what makes me worry a little bit less about the robots, is every single reading I do, there's a ton of communication stuff and everything like that. The other blessing that I think we have is Neptune with Saturn. Neptune and Saturn are both going to be retrograding into Pisces now. And basically, and then in January and February of next year, they'll both be moving back into Aries. It's like, I think the fact that they're doing it together, it's like Saturn is like breaking the illusion of Neptune. especially with it being in Pisces, which is an illusion in the first place, right? So it is almost like we have nothing to worry about. I wouldn't worry about it, right? And I also wouldn't worry about it because you have people like me calling these people out, right? That is my duty here on Earth. So there you go. You have the Seven of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Emperor. The Seven of Swords is like, lying, cheating, stealing. But really, again, as I always say, Seven of Swords is a good card. Golden cards in the tarot are meant to be positive no matter what. Intuitively, what I feel for you here, Cancer, is that you're taking something too seriously and putting too much pressure on it. Could be love, could be anything, honestly. He has these polka dots on his cloak. He needs to be more playful and less serious, And I don't know. I really have nothing else to say. I think you need to be more playful and less serious at this time. You have the Page of Cups, which could be a love offer coming in for you. So if you are looking for love, look at this. We have the Emperor, Knight of Cups, Page of Pentacles. Definitely could be an admirer coming in for you if you want love. Page of Cups is, it could be a Scorpio. It could be a water sign. You have everything here. You have fire, you have water, you have earth, basically. You do have Scorpio twice, though, which is pretty interesting. It could be an Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo. Here, you have Scorpio 3 times, technically, with the world. So there you go. This could also be you working towards a dream. I always say the Knight of Cups and the Page of Cups are both very dreamy energies. He is dreaming of this fish that's in this cup here. That well, actually, we don't know. That fish might be real, might be fake. We don't know. It might be his pet, maybe, right? But all we do know, or all I know, is that he needs to bring that fish down to earth so that he can have it in his life. You have the Emperor, again, could be a divine counterpart if you're looking for love. I also feel that, again, he has his armor on underneath his cloak. You know what's interesting, Cancer? I say this a lot to your opposite sign. Now, I believe we are meant to work with our opposite sign energy. I think that, a great thing we can all do is work with our opposite sign energy. It doesn't mean we have to become our opposite sign. It just means we have to learn from the energy of our opposite sign. In your case, that would be Capricorn. And what I always say to Capricorn is, I think in Vedic astrology, Capricorn was traditionally the crocodile. So Capricorn is traditionally like a sit and wait predator. Crocodiles, they wait under the water for food to come by and they grab it, right? The Emperor is sit and wait. He is sitting here. He's not really doing anything, but he has his armor on underneath his cloak. And so he is ready to go at a moment's notice. He is ready to take action, and he is ready to, pounce whenever an opportunity presents itself. So, with all this movement stuff, it's like I think that this week would be a good week for you to be ready, prepare for an opportunity. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Six of Cups. I would be careful of past people. Everybody's been getting this recently. Eclipses are weird. I think it's not just Mercury retrograde. Everybody always thinks of Mercury retrograde as exes coming back, but there's more to it than that. It's like I think eclipses are fate. They can bring karmic situations back from the past. So I would be I think this is good for new love, but I also feel the reading is saying be careful of old. With the Page of Cups, you have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands says that maybe the challenge here is that you have to reach for something. Sometimes I feel that with the Three of Wands, especially if it's love. This here could say that it's a little bit of a challenge, or a person could be a little bit of a challenge, not in a bad way. Maybe you feel like they're out of your league, or maybe you feel like they're out of reach or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know if that helps, but there you go. With the Emperor, yes, you have the King of Cups. Obviously, could be a water sign, which doesn't surprise me. I do think that Cancer can do well with water. Cancer does well with earth as well. Every Cancer I know is married to a Taurus, so, whatever, right? And, they all seem happy to me, so I could be wrong, but, there you go. But, I thought I was going to say something else, but I guess not. Next, here you go. In the area of messages from your future self, you have this Go For It card. Yes, every single reading I do for you, you basically get a card that's go for it. You have this Higher Power card as well. Yeah, it's there's more going on here than just your own, power. I think that your higher self could be guiding you in life at this time. I think it would be a good time for you to tap in as well here, Cancer, and to, so that you can spot opportunities and things as they move through your vision or whatever's going on here. You have the Page of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the Five of Swords. Page of Pentacles could be like a new opportunity that's coming in for you. This could also be communication as well. Communication. We are in a time of communication. I would say, especially for you, Uranus and Gemini. I think that could do a lot for you communication wise. Or you could be getting more creative with your communication. You could be like, it's like to get the things that you want, you might need to communicate more. Is what I feel for you, Cancer, for some reason. And also because of where Gemini is for you, Cancer, I think that, more like internal communication is going to be very important. So like how you talk to yourself and, needing to make sure that I would make sure you are talking yourself into things. like you might need to gas yourself up here, right? You have the Knight of Cups. Knight in Shining Armor. So, again, obviously, if you want love, this reading looks very good. Also a good time, I think, for you to plant seeds. He's got this water flowing in front of him, but he's standing in the desert. And, the whole point of this card is that he needs to plant seeds in front of that water, and the seeds will grow. So it's like a card of needing to create growth. He's kind of taking a risk because he's standing in the desert. He doesn't think anything can grow in the desert, but there's water in front of him. So, I think for a lot of you, this is saying, like, take the risk. And I think you'll be surprised. And here you go. You have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords is literally my card of taking a risk. So, I think it's time for you to take some sort of risk. Five of Swords can represent, like, a separation or walking away from something. But, I don't really feel that for you intuitively. I mean, maybe obviously some of you could be going through that. But, I think for the most part, this is encouraging risk-taking. I think the risk that Cancers will be taking is, like, just kind of like going against the grain, when you think about it, Cancer, we talk about crabs in a bucket. If you don't know what crabs in a bucket is, if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, if one tries to escape, all the other crabs try to pull that crab back into a bucket, right? And so, but I think for Cancer, that over the next several years, it's like your job is to go your own way, is to do your own thing, and to maybe not be afraid to go against the grain, to maybe not be afraid of like pissing people off or, whatever the case may be. Those are like the risks that I think you could be taking. And I would definitely encourage those risks because I think it'll lead to probably the most success. Can't make this up. Here we go. Lovers with that Page of Pentacles. So, obviously could be like a divinely guided connection here, Cancer. This has been coming up for weeks for you, so I really have nothing else to add. I would just, whatever, go for it. Here you go. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Tower again. So clearly this could be a surprise. Again, the Tower doesn't have to be bad. The Tower can be a pleasant surprise. It could also say that, sometimes you meet a person who changes your reality, right? Sometimes you meet a person where it's like you have to, it's like this seems more significant to me. It's like maybe you would have to change your life to be with this person, or maybe you would have to, do things that you've never done before to be with this person. So there you go. With the Five of Swords, yes, Four of Pentacles, taking the risk of leaving a comfort zone. It's like it's kind of funny as well to me that your readings are kind of similar to Leo readings in some ways, Cancer, because it's like Leo kind of gets the same thing about, needing to take the risk of going against the grain. Although their readings are a little bit different than that, but still, it's like I think you need to leave comfort zones and, don't be afraid to leave a comfort zone or take a risk to leave comfort zones in your life. I think that's where your success is going to come from, clearly. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Illuminate card and this Flow card. Yes, I think you need to trust the flow, trust the process. If something is flowing, it's right. If something is moving, then it's, you're going in the right direction. I also think that, it's kind of like you're waiting for, you probably are waiting for illumination because you start with the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you. And it's coming up in the good stuff. And it's also the only card in the tarot that has an eclipse on it right here. So a lot of you could be eclipsing something or cutting something out of your life, or removing something from your life. And I think that whatever you're removing from your life would be probably a good idea for you here, especially if you're walking away from something. But it's coming up in the good stuff. So, again, it's obviously it is a good thing to cut things out of your life that no longer serve you. So, not really a problem. You have the Tower. Again, I think this could be a surprise coming in for you, or just, something that is surprising to you, basically. So some of you could be surprised. You could be surprised that a person is interested in you. You could be surprised that you are finding love at this time, something like that. I also feel this could be like a quick change, again, if you are like getting opportunities that you are just kind of like grabbing onto like a crocodile, like I said, then, it could be, you could be surprising yourself by doing that, or you could just be surprised that something is actually working for you. So, again, are there really any surprises coming in for you? Like, no, but I think you could just be like, oh, I'm a little surprised at myself. I think you could also be a little bit proud of yourself here, Cancer, that you're like doing things that will make you successful. You have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, definitely a passionate new beginning. Now, one thing about the Ace of Wands is it does represent out with the old, in with the new. Tower, basically same thing. There's a castle that's crumbling in the background of the Ace of Wands. So, you could be letting go of one thing to have something better in your life. It could also just say that you're entering into a time of more desire. So if you feel like desire has been lacking in your life, like, I'm talking about that excitement, that level of excitement where you really desire something, or you're excited to be doing something. And, it's like that's what could be going on here. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Ace of Pentacles, 2 aces, which is amazing. 2 aces can definitely be a really solid opportunity coming in for you. So if you're hoping or wishing for an opportunity, this could be a really solid opportunity coming in. I also feel like good news for some reason. The Ace of Pentacles, sometimes I feel like it could be like news or communication. And obviously the Ace of Pentacles is also like a really solid opportunity. That's the whole point of the Ace of Pentacles, is that it's the hand of God providing you with an opportunity. Now, the thing about the Ace of Pentacles is that it's just an opportunity that has potential. So, like, we have to nurture the Ace of Pentacles into existence. You are very good at this, Cancer. I mean, you are the nurturing sign, right? So I would be doing whatever you can to nurture any opportunities. Can't make this up. With the Tower, you have the Ace of Wands again. It's funny that I connected those two earlier. So yeah, this could be really good, Cancer. This could be you suddenly changing direction. And I don't think this is like some great big surprise or anything. I think you could be surprised that you're doing it, but also the thing is that this is like about face energy. It's like, maybe you've been working on something for a while. Maybe it's not working as well as you want. And the Ace of Wands could just be a new inspiration, a new idea, a new light bulb moment with the Tower where you change direction and you do something and it works, right? That's kind of like the feeling I get here, especially in work or business. But could also be love, could be a very passionate connection. Here you go. With the Ace of Wands, you have 4 wands. I mean, literally, you could be meeting a person that you will marry here, Cancer. So that could be good, obviously. 4 wands, also a card of commitment. So you could be just committing to anything at this time. So if you're like doing anything new, you could be committing to new opportunities, new ideas, just new stuff in general. You have this kangaroo. It says, unsettled times, need to plan ahead. A lot of people get this card, and we are in a time of chaos until 2033. Really, it peaks in like 2028, or like 2028, somewhere around there, basically. If you want to get technical, I blame Uranus and Gemini. Really, it's like Uranus and Gemini I don't think is bad, but I do think it's a catalyst to change that we will all be experiencing. And like it's like the other problem with Uranus and Gemini is it's very much like 3D, but like not in a bad way necessarily, but it's like it's like most of us, right? If we look at something, it's like we look at the front and we look at the back, It's like, imagine Uranus and Gemini, we have to look at things all the way around. So if you're looking at a hand, it's like you have to go in between the fingers all the way around. It's like you have to look at things like in depth, like 3D, right? And so it's like things aren't going to necessarily be simple during Uranus and Gemini. I think that it's like, most issues are more complex than we make them out to be, right? But it's like we are going to be exploring all the complexity of things, on a very deep level. It's what I feel intuitively, so I don't know, just prepare. You have this firecracker. It says excitement on it. You could be attracting a firecracker for sure. I feel that energy here where it's like you could be attracting a person who is a firecracker, a person who's like loaded with energy and things like that. You have this December card and this horse card. It says short journey. Told you, a lot of movement, right? You know, I was feeling a lot of movement in your reading as well. And so wouldn't surprise me if you were making some moves here. I think it is a great time to go on journeys and travel, explore, you know, all that other good stuff. You have this quill. It says getting back to basics. Yeah, I would keep it simple, though. It's yes, I think we are going to be dealing with a lot of complex issues, which will be a total distraction during Uranus and Gemini. But at the same time, I think on a personal level, we should not overcomplicate things. You have this dragon, says beware of self-delusion. Yeah, don't trick yourself out of something. Seven of Swords, I said it, you know. So there you go. But this looks pretty good, Cancer. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.